What if every thought you've ever had wasn't in your mind, but made of the universe itself? Every spark of memory, every dream, every breath. What if every thought you've ever had wasn't in your mind, but made of the universe itself? Every spark of memory, every dream, every breath. A reflection of something cosmic looking back at you. Pause, because maybe you are not inside the universe. Maybe the universe is inside you. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet room, bathed in a soft, gentle light, and the only sound you can hear is your own breath. Outside, the world still spins, noisy, bright, and endless. But right now, here, you're preparing to leave it behind, to begin a different kind of journey. A journey inward into yourself. Tonight, we won't look up at the stars above, but into the sky within, the one made of memories, flickering lights, and the silent mysteries that science still listens to in awe. Welcome to Moon Whisper Sleep, where science becomes a lullaby and the universe gently bends toward the dreams of humankind. Perhaps today has been a long day. Your mind has wandered through numbers, through conversations, through lights that never seem to dim. Or maybe you're simply someone who enjoys letting your thoughts drift beyond the edge of night to where the planets keep turning in ancient stillness. Wherever you are, and however tired your mind may be, tonight, this journey is for you. You don't need to do anything. Just breathe in, slowly, hold it for a moment, and breathe out, as if you're returning all your burdens to the space around you. Let the breath slow down. Let your thoughts grow softer. Let your body grow lighter, as if gravity itself has loosened its hold. In this moment, you're drifting, like a grain of stardust floating in an infinite sea. Tonight, we will not rush. We will wander between worlds, not by the speed of rockets, but by the rhythm of peace. From the planets kissed by sunlight to the moons hidden in shadow, each holds a story of light, of time, of silence, and of beauty too vast for words. If your heart begins to settle, if this calm makes you smile, then take a moment to subscribe, and tap the little bell beside it, so that each night, the universe may find its way back to you through the gentle whispers of Moon Whisper Sleep. And perhaps your quiet gesture, your presence here tonight, will become a signal, helping someone else, somewhere in the dark, find this same place of rest, a place to breathe, to learn, and to be cradled by the universe, one soul at a time. Now take a deep breath, release what's left of the day, and when you're ready, close your eyes. Let me guide you through the layers of space, where we won't just gaze at the cosmos, but see ourselves reflected in every breath of the stars. When the last lights fade and the city sighs into quiet, something inside us begins to loosen. The day has finally stepped aside. The voices of obligation, performance, and polite masks grow softer until we can almost hear our own heartbeat again. It's in these hours, long after the world has gone dim, that the mind changes texture. Thoughts slow, filters thin, and suddenly, the truth finds room to breathe. Psychologists have a name for this, the nocturnal disinhibition effect. As fatigue lowers the guardrails of self-control, our minds slip into a gentler, more unguarded state. During the day, we edit ourselves constantly, trimming, adjusting, aligning to the expectations of others. But at night, the editor grows drowsy. The sentences of the soul come out raw, unfinished, and honest. You've felt it before. Those conversations that only happen after midnight, when laughter softens, the phone glows between two quiet people, and a small confession hangs in the air. It's not the darkness that invites truth. It's the safety of it. The world is sleeping. No one is watching. And in that temporary invisibility, we become real again. Research suggests that the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for inhibition and social control, shows reduced activity as the night deepens. With less censorship, emotion flows more freely through the limbic system, the heart of our emotional brain. This is why we might say things we'd never dare at noon, why text messages sent at 2 a.m. often carry the weight of things long unsaid. But honesty at night isn't reckless. It's elemental. It's the self emerging when the world stops demanding a version of us. If you've ever sat by a window in the early hours, the streetlights humming, the air still thick with yesterday's warmth, you may have felt it. That strange tenderness that asks you to reflect, to reach out, to write, or simply to listen. At night, the soul becomes acoustic. Every thought echoes. There's a quiet chemistry to this, too. Under dim light, the body increases the release of melatonin, a hormone that not only prepares us for sleep, but gently alters mood and perception. It makes colors softer, sounds rounder, and emotions more fluid. Our senses stop scanning for danger and begin to turn inward. The noise of the external world is replaced by the hum of the internal one, memory, imagination, longing. The poet Rilke once wrote, "The night too is a kind of sun," and perhaps he was right. The night doesn't hide. It reveals, but in infrared, in wavelengths of emotion invisible to daylight reason. In the dark, we see through feeling. Some psychologists suggest that this nighttime openness can deepen relationships. When two people talk beneath the same hush, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, quietly rises. Heart rates synchronize. Brain waves begin to mirror each other's rhythm. It's as if the silence itself becomes a third presence, guiding both minds toward truth. That's why confessions happen on balconies, not in boardrooms. It's why "I love you" feels more possible when whispered through darkness than shouted across daylight. Night grants permission, tells the mind you can be unfinished here. And yet, honesty is not always gentle. In the absence of distraction, we also meet the parts of ourselves we've avoided. Memories return. Regrets uncoil. A sentence someone said years ago still echoes unanswered. But even that confrontation holds grace. Because to face the self unfiltered, unarmored, is to take the first step toward healing it. In the stillness, emotion becomes data. Tells us what mattered, what hurt, what we've neglected. The night is the laboratory of introspection. Not a time to solve everything, but to observe, like a scientist of the soul, sitting quietly as the instruments flicker. Neuroscientists have noticed that during rest or low stimulus periods, the brain's default mode network lights up. This network weaves our sense of identity, linking memories into the story of who we are. When you lie awake, not doing but being, your mind is quietly editing the autobiography of your life. That's why insights often arrive between midnight and morning, because the narrative is still being rewritten. Perhaps that's what honesty truly is. Not blurting truth, but aligning the outer story with the inner one. Letting the spoken self catch up to the silent self. Imagine for a moment that your thoughts are constellations, each one faint and flickering, visible only when the sky grows dark enough. In the glare of day, we see nothing. But when night comes, the stars of the mind appear, not because they weren't there before, but because we finally dimmed the light long enough to notice them. And so, the night is not just the absence of day. It's the presence of awareness, a mirror polished by shadow. If you listen closely now, beneath the sound of your own breathing, you might hear something else. A whisper that has been waiting all day to speak. This is who I am, not the role you play, not the tone you perfect, but the raw current beneath it all. The honesty of the night is a soft revolution. No banners, no noise, only the quiet courage of being genuine when no one is watching. And in that stillness, you may discover that truth is not loud. It doesn't demand belief. It only asks to be heard. So tonight, before sleep, you might try something simple. Turn off the last screen. Sit for a minute in the half-light. Ask yourself gently, what truth have I not let breathe today? And then don't answer right away. Let silence reply for you. Because sometimes the most honest things we ever say are the ones we never speak aloud. They live in the pause between thoughts, in the warmth that fills the chest after a difficult day, in the sigh that means I'm done pretending for now. And maybe that's all the night asks of us. Not to solve, not to perform, but to rest in the simple miracle of being real. The world will return soon enough. The lights, the noise, the names we wear. But for now, in this small and sacred hour, let the mask dissolve. Let the breath steady. Let the mind at last come home to itself. Because here, under the quiet weight of stars, the truth no longer hides. Simply waits for you to listen. When you focus on a single thing, the sound of this voice, the rhythm of your breathing, or the faint hum of night outside your window, something extraordinary happens. The noise of the world fades, and what remains is a single, steady beam of awareness. Attention is the mind's most delicate currency. Every moment, billions of bits of information flood your senses, but consciousness can only afford to notice a handful. Your eyes see everything, but you experience only what your attention chooses to illuminate. Like a flashlight cutting through darkness, it defines what is real, not by what exists, but by what you notice. Neuroscientists call this the attentional bottleneck. At any given second, your brain processes about 11 million bits of sensory data, but your conscious awareness handles fewer than 50. That means almost everything you perceive never really enters the story you call your life. It drifts by, unseen, unrecorded, like light that never reaches film. The act of paying attention is therefore not passive. It's creative. To focus is to sculpt reality. Yet, in our modern world, that beam of focus is constantly fractured. We multitask, thinking we are expanding our reach, when in truth we are splitting the lens of perception itself. Each time you switch from one task to another, checking a message, returning to a sentence, glancing at a notification, your brain pays what researchers call a switching cost. It's small, maybe a second or two, but multiplied by hundreds of times a day, it fragments memory, drains energy, and quietly teaches your mind to live on the surface of things. Attention loves continuity, but distraction feeds on novelty. That's why the mind is drawn to every flicker of light, every vibration in the pocket. Evolution trained us to notice the unexpected. In the wild, a sudden rustle could mean danger. In the digital age, it just means dopamine. Psychologists once believed that memory was like a camera, faithfully recording what we see. Now we know it's more like a painter, selective, emotional, and deeply influenced by attention. You don't remember what you saw. You remember what you noticed. In experiments, people asked to divide their attention while learning something, say, listening to a lecture while checking messages, remember far less detail than those who focus deeply. Even the illusion of multitasking weakens recall. The mind encodes memory through focus, not exposure. If attention is shallow, memory is thin. If attention is steady, memory becomes architecture. But attention is not just a tool for learning. It is also a mirror for love. When you truly listen to someone, your brain synchronizes with theirs. Studies using EEG show that two people in conversation can literally align neural rhythms when one feels heard. Attention is empathy turned into electricity. It's what makes presence feel sacred. To train attention, you don't need more willpower. You need more silence. Because silence is the soil where focus grows. In the absence of noise, the mind stops darting outward and begins to listen inward. That's why the best ideas often appear when you're doing something ordinary. Showering, walking, watching the rain, when your attention is relaxed, but not asleep. There's a balance here. a rhythm between focus and drift. Too tight and the mind becomes brittle. Too loose and it dissolves into chaos. Optimal attention is fluid, a dance between intention and surrender. This rhythm shapes how memory is built. When you first encounter something, your brain encodes it as fragile threads of electrical patterns. If you revisit that memory, not immediately but after time, the connection strengthens. This is known as the spacing effect, learning in waves instead of floods. It's how neurons whisper to each other, "This one matters. Keep it." That's why students who study the same topic in short, spaced intervals remember far more than those who cram in one long burst. The brain doesn't love intensity. It loves rhythm. Like music, memory forms through repetition, not of sound, but of meaning. And environment matters too. Learning something in multiple places, a cafe, a park, a quiet room, links the memory to more cues. Later, when one of those cues reappears, the brain retrieves the information more easily. In a way, context becomes a map. The more landmarks you add, the easier it is to return home. There's also a hidden ally in the act of teaching. When you explain something to someone else, your mind restructures knowledge from fragments into flow. This is called the protégé effect. Teaching is the highest form of remembering, but perhaps the most surprising ally of memory is sleep. During deep sleep, your brain replays fragments of the day, compressing, weaving, and deciding which details to keep. Memories shift from the hippocampus, where they are short-term, to the neocortex, where they are stored more permanently. It's as if the brain spends the night editing its own film, trimming noise, amplifying signal, and adding music to emotion. So, when you think you're doing nothing, resting, staring into the dark, listening to soft music, your brain is still at work, filing, connecting, and quietly preserving the story of you. Attention, memory, and identity are intertwined. You become what you give your attention to, and what you repeatedly attend to becomes the architecture of who you are. Imagine each moment as a bead of light on a thread. If you scatter your focus, the beads fall apart, disconnected, shimmering briefly, then lost. But if you gather them patiently, one by one, they form a necklace, a pattern, a life, a story that holds together even when you close your eyes. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, notice where your mind goes. Does it scatter or does it settle? Can you let your attention narrow, not in strain, but in trust, as if focusing on a candle flame that grows softer with each breath? The mind, after all, is not a machine. It's a garden. Attention is the light, memory is the soil, and rest is the rain that allows both to grow. When you wake tomorrow, the world will once again compete for your focus. But perhaps you'll remember this: what you choose to notice, you choose to keep. And what you keep becomes, in time, your life story. The quiet masterpiece written one breath at a time. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the simple weight of your own hands, the warmth that lingers there, the quiet pulse of life beneath your skin. Even now, as you sit still, the world is touching you. The fabric against your arms, the air that slides softly across your face, the heartbeat echoing from your chest. Touch is the first sense we ever knew. Long before sight, before sound, we felt. In the dark waters of the womb, we were held, bathed in motion, surrounded by the rhythm of another body. From the very beginning, to be alive has meant to be touched. Neuroscientists call skin the largest organ of the body. It's not just a boundary, it's a bridge. Every square inch is covered with sensors, tiny gates that translate pressure, warmth, and vibration into electrical whispers traveling to the brain. From these signals, the mind weaves a tapestry of reality. A single grain of sand, the brush of hair against your neck, the comforting grip of another's hand. Each one becomes a sentence in the silent language of touch. But this language does more than describe the world. It connects us. When someone places a hand on your shoulder, something ancient happens. Your body releases oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds mother to child, lover to lover, friend to friend. It slows the heart, lowers the stress chemicals in your blood, and whispers to the nervous system, "You are safe." In one study, researchers asked couples to hold hands while one partner experienced mild pain. Not only did the pain lessen, their brain waves began to synchronize. Two separate nervous systems started beating in rhythm, like two instruments tuning to the same note. Pain in that moment was not erased, but it was shared, and shared pain becomes lighter. Touch is empathy in physical form. It says what words cannot. A hug can quiet a panic faster than logic. A hand on the back can mean, "I see you," when language fails. In the stillness between bodies, a communication older than speech awakens. Yet touch is also the messenger of pain, the body's sharpest reminder that we are fragile. Pain is not punishment. It's a signal, a cry from the edges of your existence saying, "Something here needs care." When you burn your finger, when your muscles ache, when grief grips your chest, your nervous system is speaking in the most direct way it knows. For centuries, we tried to silence pain, to fight it, to numb it. But modern science and ancient wisdom now agree. Pain is not the enemy. It is the messenger. To understand it, to listen to it, is to begin the work of healing. Inside your spinal cord, there's a small gate, a cluster of neurons that decides whether to let pain signals through. Psychologists call this the gate control theory of pain. If you touch or rub the area that hurts, you're not imagining relief, you're literally closing the gate. The gentle signals of touch compete with pain messages in the same neural highway, and for a moment, comfort wins. Even more fascinating, the brain can amplify or soften pain depending on emotion. Fear opens the gate wider. Calm can close it. That's why breathing slowly, listening to soothing music, or being held by someone you trust can all reduce pain. Not because the injury disappears, but because the brain's interpretation changes. Pain lives partly in the body and partly in perception. Hypnosis, meditation, even focused prayer, all have been shown to reshape how the brain processes pain. In scans, the same injury registers differently when a person feels safe, connected, or simply loved. The mind doesn't always erase the signal, but it can rewrite the story around it. And so, in its deepest form, pain is not just a biological event, it is a dialogue. Between body and mind, between awareness and response, between the physical world and the inner one. When we listen closely, pain can become not an interruption, but a teacher. Teaches boundaries, where we end and where the world begins. Teaches compassion for ourselves and for others who suffer. And it teaches presence because pain exists only in the now. There's a quiet paradox here. The same pathways that carry pain also carry pleasure. A kiss and a wound travel similar roads. The brain decides how to name them. Pleasure, after all, is the safe side of vulnerability. It's the body saying, "Yes, you may enter. I trust you." Perhaps this is why the memory of touch lasts so long. Even when years pass, we remember the way someone's hand once felt in ours. The warmth of a hug, the softness of a goodbye. Touch imprints emotion deeper than words. Long after language fades, the skin remembers. In dementia patients, gentle massage has been shown to awaken calm, to restore fragments of memory that speech could not reach. The body, it seems, remembers kindness. It holds it like sunlight, stored in the bones. So tonight, as you rest, let yourself feel again. The air, the weight of the blanket, the pulse beneath your ribs. This too is connection, a conversation between the world and your awareness. When you wake tomorrow, the first thing you will feel is the coolness of air on your skin. The world's quiet reminder, you're still here, alive, capable of touch, of feeling, of empathy. And maybe, the next time you reach out to comfort someone, you'll remember this truth, that touch is not a gesture. It is a form of communication older than speech, deeper than sight, stronger than thought. A bridge from one consciousness to another, a living proof that we were never meant to travel through existence alone. So breathe in, feel the space between your palms. That tingling warmth is the universe touching back. Take a slow breath. Let the air move through you, unseen yet intimate. Each molecule you inhale carries stories older than language. A trace of rain, a whisper of salt, the ghost of a blooming tree miles away. Before you even realize it, your brain has already recognized it. The faint aroma of coffee, the smoke of morning toast, the scent of someone you love lingering in the fabric of a shirt. In a single breath, you are transported not through space but through time. Of all the senses, smell is the most ancient. Before sight evolved, before creatures heard the world, life already knew how to smell its surroundings, to sense what was nourishing, what was dangerous, what was home. Even now, when scent enters your nose, it travels straight to the limbic system, the part of the brain that governs emotion and memory. It bypasses logic entirely. That is why a smell can make you cry before you even know why. There is a word for this phenomenon, Proustian memory, named after the writer Marcel Proust, who once described how the smell of a small Madeleine cake dipped in tea unlocked a flood of childhood memories he thought were lost forever. Science later confirmed his poetry. Smell and taste connect directly to the hippocampus, the brain's archivist. Every inhale is a key, and sometimes, without warning, it opens a door you did not know still existed. Think of the scent of rain on dry earth, petrichor. Even if you have never learned that word, you know its feeling. A sudden calm, a nostalgia for something you cannot name. When you smell it, neurons fire across networks of memory and emotion, reweaving forgotten threads of childhood, of home, of belonging. Aromas are invisible time machines. The smell of cinnamon might take you back to a kitchen lit by afternoon sun. The scent of ocean salt might return you to a day you stood by the shore, your skin wet, your heart wide open to the horizon. Smell doesn't just remind us of where we've been, it anchors us in who we are. Our personal scent map is like a fingerprint of experience. It's why you can recognize a loved one blindfolded, why the perfume of a stranger can stir something familiar. Every scent carries an emotional signature, and when it reappears, the past becomes present again. Taste is the twin of smell, more physical, yet equally emotional. When you eat, your brain doesn't just analyze flavor, it reads context. Taste is chemistry mixed with memory. Sweetness is not just sugar, it is safety. Bitterness, once a warning of poison, still carries caution in its code. Salt, the flavor of survival, binds us to the sea from which all life once came. To savor is to pay attention. That first sip of tea after a long day, that warm bread between your hands, they slow time down. They remind you that nourishment is not only about the body, but about presence. Neuroscientists discovered that taste activates more than gustatory cortex. It lights up the orbitofrontal cortex, the region of pleasure and reward. This is why the same flavor can feel different depending on mood. A meal shared in joy tastes richer. The same dish eaten in loneliness can turn hollow. Taste, it seems, doesn't live on the tongue alone. It lives in the heart. Some cultures understand this intuitively. In Japan, they call the untranslatable flavor umami, literally, essence of deliciousness. It's the depth behind the surface, the comfort that lingers after the bite is gone. In India, Food is offered to the divine before being eaten, a way to turn nourishment into gratitude. In every culture, to eat is to remember. Each recipe is a form of storytelling, a language passed through generations, written not on paper, but on the tongue. Smell and taste are also our most fragile senses. They fade with age or after illness, and when they disappear, the world loses texture. People who lose smell often describe a strange kind of loneliness, as if they can still see the world, but cannot feel its presence. Because scent is intimacy with existence itself. And yet, even in loss, the brain adapts. When smell diminishes, visual and emotional memory sharpen. A quiet compensation, a reminder that the senses are a choir, always harmonizing to keep the song alive. There is a scientific beauty in how scent and taste work together. Every flavor you know is 80% smell and 20% taste. When you hold food in your mouth, aroma molecules rise through the back of your throat and reach the olfactory bulb. This process, called retronasal olfaction, is why you can taste a strawberry even after closing your nose, until you catch a cold, and the world suddenly tastes gray. But beyond biology, there is something profoundly human here. The way a smell can soften grief, or a taste can resurrect joy. The way cooking for someone becomes an act of love, a wordless promise. I want you to stay alive. Our ancestors used scent not just for survival, but for the sacred. Smoke rising from incense, the aroma of bread breaking, the ritual of wine poured into a cup. They understood that smell and taste are portals to reverence. Even now, in temples, churches, and homes around the world, fragrance is still used to call the divine closer. Perhaps this is why the breath and the soul have always shared the same word in so many languages. Spiritus, pneuma, kai. To breathe is to live. To smell is to remember. To taste is to be grateful. So tonight, as you drift deeper into calm, let your breath become a bridge. Imagine each inhale carrying traces of every place you've ever loved. Fields, kitchens, oceans, people who once held you. Let each exhale return something gentle to the air. You are part of an endless exchange. Breath becoming memory, memory becoming life. When you wake tomorrow, and the scent of morning coffee greets you, pause. For in that single moment, your brain, your heart, and the ancient story of humanity are all breathing as one. And perhaps you'll understand that smell and taste are not just senses, but threads that tie your soul to the world. Invisible, delicate, eternal, carrying the sweetness of being alive. Close your eyes. Let the edges of the world dissolve. You've been awake for so long, collecting thoughts, feelings, fragments of light. Now, at last, it's time to return them to the ocean of the mind. Sleep is not an absence of consciousness. It is its transformation. While the body grows still, the brain begins its secret work, restoring, repairing, reimagining. Each night, as darkness falls, you enter the oldest ritual of all, the art of forgetting, so that you may remember again. For centuries, people thought of sleep as simple rest, a blank pause between the chapters of waking life. But modern science has revealed a more poetic truth. Sleep is not the pause between pages. It is the author rewriting the story. During deep sleep, neurons hum in slow synchrony, large waves of electrical rhythm sweeping across the brain like tides. These slow waves wash away metabolic waste, flush toxins from the neural tissue, and reset the fragile chemistry that thought depends on. It is a nightly cleansing, a tide that leaves the shore clean for another dawn. But as you drift deeper, something more mysterious begins. The world outside fades, and the inner one awakens. In the realm of REM sleep, the stage of rapid eye movement, your brain lights up again almost as vividly as in waking life. The visual cortex, the limbic system, the emotional centers all burst into quiet fire. Only one region dims, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and restraint. And so, imagination takes the throne. Dreams begin. Here, in this shadow light, the mind rearranges memories, weaving yesterday's fragments with forgotten years, turning emotion into image, fear into story, desire into symbol. It is not chaos. It is choreography. Scientists once believed dreams were meaningless, just noise in the circuits. Now they think otherwise. Dreams are the brain's rehearsal room, its private laboratory. When you dream of falling, your body practices the feeling of letting go. When you dream of loss, your heart rehearses how to hold grief and release it safely. Each dream is a simulation, a soft rehearsal for the theater of waking life. Even creativity owes much to sleep. Einstein, Dali, and Edison all used naps to hover at the edge between waking and dreaming, the liminal space where ideas are born. Because in that in-between, logic grows quiet enough for imagination to whisper. Inside the hippocampus, the brain's memory vault, cells replay the day's experiences at night, compressing them into patterns, strengthening what matters, and letting go of what doesn't. This process, called memory consolidation, is the mind's nightly filing system. You fall asleep full of chaos, you wake with coherence. But sleep does more than organize thought. It balances emotion. During REM, the brain replays emotional memories without the sharp edge of stress hormones. It's like watching the same storm, but from the safety of a window. That's why a painful memory, after a night's sleep, often hurts less. Dreaming is the therapy you never schedule. Even nightmares have meaning. They are not punishments, they are messages. When anxiety or trauma burrows deep, dreams bring it to the surface, turning terror into something visible, something the mind can face. And sometimes, simply facing it is enough to begin healing. In ancient cultures, dreams were seen as bridges to the divine. Egyptian pharaohs recorded them as prophecies. Native American shamans treated dreams as guidance from ancestors. Modern science may use different words, but perhaps it is describing the same sacred truth. Dreams are the soul's way of speaking in the language the intellect cannot understand. Have you ever noticed, in a dream, time bends? A single heartbeat can hold an entire journey. Faces blur, places shift, and yet it all feels coherent, as if guided by an unseen hand. That's because the dreaming brain weaves meaning, not chronology. It arranges emotion like a composer arranges sound. And sometimes, when you wake, a faint trace lingers, a feeling that doesn't belong to this world. It's the residue of imagination, still glowing from the mind's internal sun. Some neuroscientists suggest that dreams may be how consciousness tests itself, building models of possible worlds, playing with the rules of reality. In that sense, dreams are not an escape from life. They are life experimenting with itself. There's a beauty in how sleep protects us. When we close our eyes, the brain lowers sensory gates, reduces external noise, and lets the mind wander safely inside. It's a nightly retreat, a return to the source. Even animals dream. Watch a sleeping cat's paws twitch, or a dog's muffled bark in its sleep. They are reliving the hunt, the play, the joy. Dreaming is not human privilege. It is the language of life itself, a universal code written in pulses and light. And yet, despite all we've learned, sleep remains partly a mystery. Why must we surrender consciousness for nearly a third of our lives? Perhaps because awareness, like fire, needs darkness to keep burning. Perhaps because silence is not the opposite of thought. It's the womb that gives birth to it. So tonight, as you drift, remember, you are not falling into nothingness. You are entering the workshop of your mind. where memories are polished, emotions are healed, and the soul practices being alive again. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts loosen. There is nothing left to solve tonight. The mind knows what to do. Sleep is not escape. It is return. When you open your eyes again, the world will feel slightly rearranged. Not because it changed, but because you did. And in that quiet shift, between who you were when you closed your eyes and who you are when you awaken, you will find the soft miracle of being human. Time, it slips through your fingers even as you reach for it. You can't touch it, but you feel it pass. In the slow fade of daylight, in the rhythm of your breath, in the quiet ache of memory. But what if time doesn't flow at all? What if it's the mind that moves? A traveler walking through stillness, carrying the illusion of motion inside its own awareness. The physicists say that past, present, and future coexist. A single landscape called space-time, where every moment already is, like pages of a book already written. Yet the mind, built to survive in sequence, reads only one page at a time. So it invents a current, a flow, the feeling we call now. Perception is not a mirror. It is a painter. Every instant you experience is already history. A tenth of a second delayed while your brain gathers signals, corrects errors, and stitches fragments into a seamless world. You never truly see reality as it is. You see the story your brain tells about it. A hallucination so precise we call it truth. That is why lightning seems to follow thunder. Why you sometimes swear you caught something just in time, when the event had already happened. The mind, always catching up, turns delay into continuity. It edits existence as it happens, a living illusion. In experiments, when scientists delay a visual cue by just a fraction of a second, the brain adjusts automatically, reordering perception to preserve the sense of flow. It doesn't like gaps. It fills them with imagination. Reality, it turns out, is not given. It's composed. Every color you see is the brain's best guess. Red, blue, green, they don't exist out there. They're interpretations of wavelength, translated by billions of neurons into meaning. The sky is not blue. It is light scattered through gas, translated into beauty by consciousness. Even your sense of your own body is an illusion, a constantly updated model your brain maintains from millions of sensory signals. When scientists use virtual reality to swap these signals, people can feel as if they occupy another body, even an inanimate object. The self is not fixed. It's a projection, stable enough to navigate, fragile enough to dissolve in a dream. And then there's time, our oldest illusion and our most intimate one. The flow of time speeds up as we age, not because the seconds move faster, but because the brain records fewer new experiences. When you're a child, the world is vivid. Every scent, sound, and color feels like discovery. Your brain stores dense patterns of memory, and so time feels full, stretched wide. As adults, routine flattens perception. Fewer new memories mean fewer bookmarks in the brain. A year passes but feels like a week. Novelty expands time. Familiarity compresses it. So the secret to slowing life down is not to move slower, but to notice more. Paying attention is the closest thing we have to time travel. Because when you are truly present, you step out of the current altogether. Past and future dissolve. Only awareness remains, a single luminous point, suspended between what was and what will be. Perhaps this is what mystics mean when they speak of eternity. Not endless years, but timelessness. A state where moments stop being counted and start being lived. Neuroscience now confirms what ancient meditation masters intuited. In moments of deep focus or awe, the brain's timekeeping circuits quiet down. The insular cortex, which tracks bodily rhythm, slows. The prefrontal cortex, the storyteller of past and future, softens its grip. And in that stillness, the illusion of time cracks open just enough for eternity to breathe through. That is why wonder feels infinite, why beauty makes you forget to measure, why a sunrise or a single note of music can feel like forever folded into a second. In dreams, time stretches too. A single minute can contain an entire lifetime. The brain doesn't measure duration there. It measures density, the richness of emotion, the intensity of meaning. Perhaps time in dreams is how eternity rehearses being human. Illusion, then, is not deception. It's translation. The brain cannot hold reality raw, so it wraps it in perception, colors it, shapes it, makes it human enough to bear. Without illusion, truth would be too vast to live inside. Every artist, every poet, every dreamer knows this. The world we experience is not less real because it's filtered. It is more real because it's felt. Science explains how the illusion works. Art explains why it matters. And together, they reveal a deeper truth that what we call reality is a collaboration between universe and mind. So the next time you feel time slipping away, pause, breathe. Remember that the river you feel rushing is also you. You are not moving through time. You are what time feels like when it becomes aware of itself. Close your eyes and notice how the present never actually arrives. It just keeps unfolding, moment by moment, like light eternally touching the surface of being. In that realization lies peace, because to live fully is not to outrun time, but to dance with it, to feel its rhythm, to see its illusion, and to love it anyway. Maybe that's the purpose of perception, not to capture the universe, but to translate it into tenderness, a way for infinity to become intimate. So tonight, as you lie beneath the quiet sky, imagine the stars not as distant objects, but as ancient clocks, still ticking in the silence. Each photon that reaches you has traveled for millions of years, and yet, it arrives now, collapsing eternity into the moment you call this. Time, perception, illusion, they are not walls of separation. They are mirrors. They bend reality so we can see ourselves inside it. And as you drift towards sleep, remember, nothing truly ends. Moments don't vanish. They fold. They ripple. They remain, like echoes in the ocean of consciousness. The universe is still. You are the movement. And in your perception, time learns how to flow. Every moment you live is painted by emotion. You don't just see the world, you feel it through the quiet lens of your inner weather. The same sunrise can look golden or gray depending on the sky inside your mind. Emotion is not weakness. It's not noise. It is the oldest intelligence of life, the language that existence spoke long before words were invented. Before humans had logic, we had feeling. Before we measured, we responded. Every cell, every organism, from the simplest to the most complex, moves toward what nourishes and away from what harms. That movement, that pulse of attraction and aversion, is emotion in its purest form. The word emotion comes from the Latin emovere, to move outward, because that's what emotions do. They move us. They are the currents beneath thought, the unseen tide that shapes every decision, every heartbeat, every story we tell about ourselves. Inside the brain, they begin in the limbic system, ancient structures buried deep in the architecture of survival. The amygdala sounds the alarm. The hypothalamus floods the body with chemicals. The prefrontal cortex interprets and narrates the event. But these are only mechanics. Emotion is not contained in the wiring. It is the electricity itself. Joy is not in the synapse. Grief is not in the gland. They live in the space between where body and meaning meet. Have you noticed how emotions color time? Fear stretches seconds into eternity. Happiness compresses hours into moments that flash by. Sadness makes the air heavier, as if even gravity deepens its pull. In truth, the physics of emotion bends the physics of perception. When you are calm, the brain's activity synchronizes. Waves slow, breathing steadies. The world softens around you. But when you are anxious, those waves fracture. Thoughts scatter like light through broken glass. Your body becomes a storm and your mind, a sky full of static. And yet, emotion is not the enemy of reason. They are partners, two instruments in the same orchestra. Without emotion, logic has no direction. Without reason, emotion has no form. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio once studied patients whose emotional centers were damaged by injury. They could think perfectly, recite facts, make lists, but they could no longer make decisions. Because to choose, you must first care. Emotion, it turns out, is the compass of the soul. Even memory depends on feeling. You remember not what you did, but how it felt. The brain tags emotional experiences as important, marking them for long-term storage. That's why the smell of your childhood kitchen, the sound of laughter under rain, or a song from years ago can bring tears before thought. Emotion is the ink that memory writes in. But not all emotions are gentle. Pain, anger, jealousy, they burn, they frighten, they overwhelm. And yet, they too carry information. Anger signals violated boundaries. Fear warns of uncertainty. Sadness demands rest, a return to stillness. Every feeling is a messenger. None are meaningless. In the modern world, we are taught to manage emotions as if they were unruly guests. But perhaps we should greet them instead. Invite them in. Offer them tea. Because when you listen, they reveal their reason for arriving. Meditation is not about erasing emotion. It's about recognizing it as movement. Waves that rise and fall without drowning the ocean that holds them. You are not the wave. You are the sea. The chemistry of feeling is beautiful. Serotonin, balance. Dopamine, anticipation. Oxytocin, connection. Cortisol, vigilance. They dance through your bloodstream like notes in a song, and your brain, that miraculous conductor, turns them into symphonies of mood. But you are more than chemistry. You are the awareness that listens to the music. Each culture names emotion differently. The Japanese word yugen means a profound, mysterious sense of beauty. The Portuguese saudade means the longing for something that cannot return. In every language, emotion escapes definition because it belongs not to the tongue, but to the breath. It's how the universe sighs through you. Artists and poets have always known this. They understood that emotion is not something to be analyzed, but something to be felt into understanding. A painting, a melody, a poem, these are not descriptions of emotion. They are emotions given form. Perhaps that is why color affects mood so deeply. Blue calms the nervous system, red awakens it, green restores equilibrium. We paint our surroundings to mirror our inner state, and our inner state, in turn, adapts to the colors we live among. The mind doesn't only feel emotions, it sees them. Every emotion has its own light. Joy glows warm, like morning through curtains. Fear flickers cold, like lightning on metal. Gratitude shimmers, soft, persistent, like moonlight on water. The mind, through feeling, turns invisible energy into color. So much of what we call understanding is really empathy, the ability to feel what another feels. When you see someone cry, your brain's mirror neurons activate, quietly echoing their pain within your own circuits. You don't just witness emotion, you become it, and that resonance is the root of compassion. To feel is to be connected, not just to people but to the entire living field. Plants respond to stress with chemical signals. Animals grieve, play, rejoice. The universe itself pulses with rhythm, and we are the conscious expression of that pulse. Perhaps emotion is how the cosmos experiences itself through us. through the trembling of a human heart, through laughter, through tears, through the quiet ache of love. When you close your eyes tonight, listen for that pulse. Feel how every breath carries a subtle tone, the vibration of being alive. Joy and sorrow, hope and fear, they are all colors in the same light. They shift, they blend, but the light itself never fades. Emotion is not something to control. It is something to honor, because to feel deeply is to participate in the miracle of existence. It means the universe is still touching you, still moving through you, still alive within your chest. So let yourself feel. Let the colors come and go. They do not define you, they reveal you. They show where the soul meets the world. And in that meeting place, somewhere between heartbeats, you'll find the quiet truth that binds them all. To feel is to be real. From the moment you are born, you are held by hands, by voices, by warmth. Before you can speak, you already understand what it means to belong. The human mind is not built to stand alone. It is built to resonate. Every glance, every word, every touch is an exchange of electricity between nervous systems. Tiny flashes of recognition saying, "I see you. I am like you." Biologists call us social animals, but that phrase is too small. We are not just creatures that gather. We are creatures that merge. The boundaries of the self blur in connection. The brain, that silent cathedral of thought, lights up differently in the presence of another mind. In moments of deep conversation, neural rhythms between two people begin to synchronize, a phenomenon known as interbrain coupling. It's as if two separate instruments start to play the same melody. Even our heart rates and breathing can fall into rhythm together. Connection, in the most literal sense, is resonance. Mirror neurons, tiny empathic messengers scattered through the brain, allow us to feel what others feel. When you see someone smile, your brain activates the same motor patterns. When you witness pain, your body flinches with them. You don't decide to empathize. You become empathy. This is why loneliness hurts in the same part of the brain that registers physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, which lights up when you burn your hand, also lights up when you feel rejected. Because to the brain, isolation is not metaphorical. It is injury. Humans survived not by strength, but by understanding. Long before written language, we read faces, gestures, tone. We felt danger ripple through the group, joy surge through the crowd. Emotion became the glue of cooperation, our first technology of survival. Even now, your nervous system listens for others. When someone yawns, you yawn. When someone laughs, your brain releases the same endorphins. Laughter, scientists say, evolved not as humor, but as synchronization, a way for tribes to breathe together, to signal safety through shared rhythm. To be human is to live inside invisible networks of meaning. Our thoughts are not islands. They are waves in a collective ocean. Language itself is proof. Every word you speak was shaped by thousands of voices before you. Every idea you hold is an inheritance passed down through generations of minds. You are not a single consciousness. You are a choir remembering itself. And when that harmony breaks, when connection frays, the mind begins to dim. Depression, anxiety, alienation, they are not only chemical, they are signals of disconnection. When we forget we belong, the inner light flickers. That's why a single act of kindness, a single "you're not alone," can restore balance faster than medicine. In studies, people who feel socially supported heal wounds faster, fight illness more effectively, and even live longer. The immune system listens to love. Oxytocin, the same molecule released in trust and bonding, lowers inflammation, regulates stress, and quiets fear. Compassion is biology's way of saying, we are meant to care for each other. Technology tries to mimic connection, messages, screens, algorithms. But digital light is not the same as human light. You can't smell warmth through a pixel. You can't feel heartbeat through a signal. And yet, the desire behind it, the hunger to be seen, heard, understood, is timeless. Even in the virtual, the ancient impulse remains, to belong. Perhaps that's why moments of true connection feel so sacred. A friend's hand on yours, a shared silence that needs no explanation, a crowd singing the same lyric under the same sky. These are small resurrections of the soul. They remind you that consciousness is communal, that the self alone is only half a story. Neuroscience calls it social cognition, the ability to understand others' minds. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's soul recognition, a remembering that beneath the masks, beneath the languages, we are made of the same matter. Atoms born from the same stars, firing now in patterns of empathy and love. When astronauts look down at Earth from orbit, many report a profound shift known as the overview effect. Seeing the planet small, fragile, without borders, they feel a sudden, overwhelming unity. No nations, no divisions. Only one shared home, spinning quietly in the dark. That same realization can happen in the space between two people. A microcosm of the cosmos. Two minds recognizing their sameness across the vastness of being. But connection doesn't always mean agreement. It means recognition, that behind every opinion, every act, every fear, there is a human story, as complex and tender as your own. Empathy is not soft. It is revolutionary, because to truly see another person is to dissolve the illusion of separation. The heart, when open, is not naive. It is brave. It feels the world fully, the suffering and the beauty, and still chooses to love. To extend understanding where none is expected. To reach out again and again even when the world retreats. Perhaps this is what consciousness has been striving for all along. To know itself not in isolation, but in reflection. Like two mirrors facing each other, creating infinity in the space between. When you listen to someone with full attention, your mind stops being singular. You become a bridge, a channel through which awareness travels both ways. That is why compassion feels so luminous. It is consciousness recognizing itself in another form. So tonight, as you lie in stillness, remember that even here, in your quiet solitude, you are not alone. Your thoughts are connected to every thought that ever was, to the scientists who mapped neurons, to the poets who wrote of love, to the unknown stranger who looked up at the same stars and wondered the same question. What does it mean to be alive together? Perhaps the answer is simple. To be human is to be each other's echo, to carry light forward through the mirror of empathy, to weave individual moments into one vast story of belonging. Because every smile you offer, every kindness you share, every listening silence, ripples outward through the invisible web of minds. And in those ripples, humanity remembers itself. Connection is not the opposite of solitude. It is its completion. You can only meet the world deeply when you have met yourself deeply first. Only then does your presence become medicine. So breathe softly. Feel the pulse beneath your ribs. That rhythm is shared not just by hearts, but by galaxies. You are part of a great conversation, the universe speaking to itself through you. There are billions of faces in the world, but only a few make your heart stop. Only a few awaken something ancient, as if the soul itself whispers, I know you. From birth, the human brain is tuned for faces. Within hours of opening its eyes, a newborn can distinguish a mother's face from every other. The first map the infant makes is not of places, but of people. Because survival, for our species, has always been written in the gaze of another. Behind your forehead, in the folds of the temporal lobe, lies a small, miraculous region, the fusiform face area. It lights up every time you look at a face, reading expressions, emotions, symmetry, and eyes. It doesn't see just features, it sees meaning. A flicker of an eyebrow, a curve of a smile, a glance that lasts a second too long. The brain translates them all into messages older than language. Faces are stories made of skin. They reveal our history without words. Joys etched around the eyes, grief carved into the corners of the mouth, years of laughter and loss woven into lines. Every wrinkle is a biography, every gaze a reflection. Recognition is not just visual, it's emotional. When you see someone you love, your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, fires before you consciously know who they are. Your heart knows first. That rush, that soft shock of familiarity, is the body's way of saying, "You belong here." Names are the verbal mirrors of faces. Hearing your name spoken activates the same reward pathways as music or touch. It reminds you that you exist in another's memory, that someone has carved space for you in their mind. It is one of the simplest and most profound affirmations a person can receive. You are seen. But recognition is fragile. In a condition known as prosopagnosia, or face blindness, people lose the ability to identify even those closest to them. They can see eyes, mouths, features, but cannot bind them into a person. To them, the world becomes a sea of strangers. It is a quiet tragedy, to stand before love and not know its face. And yet, the heart adapts. Those who cannot see faces learn to recognize through other cues: voice, movement, tone. They remind us that connection is deeper than sight, that love finds new pathways when one sense fails. Recognition shapes not only how we see others, but how we see ourselves. When you look in a mirror, you're not just checking your reflection. You're confirming existence. That gaze, meeting your own eyes, is the daily ritual of self-recognition. The brain binds image and identity and whispers, "This is me." But who is that me? Every 7 years, nearly every atom in your body is replaced. Every thought changes shape with memory. And yet, something constant persists. The pattern of recognition, the rhythm of awareness that says, "I am still here." Perhaps identity is not a fixed object, but a melody the mind plays over time. Each day's memory adds a note. Each face you love becomes harmony, and together they form the song called you. Our need for recognition extends beyond biology. Artists paint, writers write, musicians play, all to be seen by the eyes of the unseen. Even silence longs for an echo. Every creation whispers, "Will someone recognize me? Will someone understand what I meant?" Recognition is not vanity. It is communion. To be recognized is to exist in reflection. It means your inner world has found resonance in another's, that the spark within you has been mirrored back as light. And yet, recognition can be dangerous when mistaken for validation. The world now floods us with faces, screens glowing with endless eyes and smiles. But so many of these glances are empty reflections, attention mistaken for affection, visibility mistaken for meaning. True recognition is quiet. It doesn't need applause. It feels like warmth, the steady presence of someone who truly sees. They don't just look at your face. They understand the story behind it. They don't love who you appear to be. They love the person you're still becoming. In that kind of recognition, something holy happens. Two identities overlap, and for a moment, the illusion of separation dissolves. You see yourself in the eyes of another, and they in you. It is the purest mirror, the one that doesn't reflect features but essence. This too has roots in science. When we look at someone we love, the brain releases oxytocin and dopamine. But more than chemistry, it synchronizes neural patterns, as if the two minds briefly share a circuit. In those seconds of unity, you're no longer alone in your perception. You are part of something larger, a shared consciousness. Perhaps that's what ancient mystics meant by the word recognition. Not just seeing another person, but recognizing the divine in them, the same spark that lives in you. In Sanskrit, there is a word, namaste. It means, the light in me honors the light in you. That is recognition at its most luminous. But recognition also carries pain, because to remember a face is to risk losing it. To hold a name in your heart is to carry its echo after silence. Grief, in many ways, is the persistence of recognition without presence. The mind continues to search for familiar patterns in a world where they no longer appear. And yet, that searching is a form of love. Love is recognition that refuses to fade. Every photograph you keep, every name you whisper in prayer, every dream where an old friend returns, is proof that recognition transcends time. That once two minds have met, they remain entangled in memory's gravity. So tonight, if you close your eyes and see a face, someone long gone, someone far away, don't push it aside. Let it visit. Let it remind you that recognition is how love keeps breathing. Because even across distance, even across years, the mind remembers the constellation of faces that taught it what home feels like. And maybe that's what we are, after all, a collection of remembered faces, names carried like constellations in the dark. Each one a star, guiding us back to the truth that none of us exist alone. To recognize is to awaken. To remember is to love. And to love is to keep seeing even with eyes closed. Close your eyes for a moment and think of someone you once knew well. A friend, a voice, a laugh that once filled the room. Now notice what remains. Not every detail, not the lines of their face, but the feeling, the outline of their presence pressed softly into your heart. That's what memory becomes eventually, not a photograph, but a fragrance, a trace, something you can't quite hold, yet can never truly lose. We often think of memory as storage, a vault of moments, a hard drive of the soul. But the brain is not an archive. It is an artist, paints, repaints, and sometimes lets the colors fade. Each time you remember something, you are not retrieving the original. You are recreating it, like a sculptor touching wet clay again and again. Each recollection reshapes the past ever so slightly. Neuroscientists call this reconsolidation. Memory is alive, and like all living things, it changes. That's why stories evolve, why memories conflict, why even truth bends gently under the weight of time. The brain doesn't preserve moments, preserves meaning, and meaning, like water, always finds new paths to flow. When we lose someone, the mind faces an impossible paradox. The body knows they are gone, but the neural maps, the circuits that fired when you heard their voice, when you reached for their hand, still expect them. So the brain keeps calling into silence. It's not madness. It's love refusing to die. Grief, in its pure form, is the collision between presence and absence. A recognition that the world continues, but the pattern of familiarity has vanished. It's like hearing a song with one missing note, and your heart, forever, leaning toward the sound that isn't there. But even grief evolves. At first, it's sharp, an alarm in the nervous system. Then it softens. The circuits reorganize. The pain becomes background music, and memory becomes melody. You begin to remember without collapsing, to speak their name without breaking. The mind, gently, teaches the heart how to live with ghosts. Forgetting, too, is an act of mercy. Without it, we would drown in the weight of every moment. The brain filters endlessly, deciding what to keep, what to release. It erases so you can continue. This isn't cruelty, it's balance. Because to survive is to edit. Imagine remembering everything. Every scent, every word, every sorrow. It would be unbearable. The mind protects itself by allowing some moments to dissolve like footprints in tide. Even the cells that hold memory, the hippocampal neurons, renew connections over time. Each night, in sleep, the brain reviews the day's footage and decides what to archive, what to let fade. Forgetting, in this sense, is a quiet housekeeping of consciousness. And yet, sometimes, when the forgetting feels too fast, as in dementia or the gentle unraveling of age, we grieve again. Watching a loved one lose their stories is like watching a library catch fire. Each day, one more page turns to smoke. But look closer. Beneath the ashes, there are still embers of awareness, the light of recognition, the rhythm of affection. Even when words are gone, touch remains. Music remains. The language of love survives the collapse of memory. Neuroscientists have found that people with Alzheimer's still respond to songs from youth, their eyes brightening, their lips moving softly to familiar lyrics. Because music is stored not just in memory centers, but in the circuits of emotion. Feeling, it seems, outlasts fact. So maybe what we truly keep isn't what happened, but how it felt. The warmth of sunlight on that day, the weight of laughter in that room, the echo of being understood. These things never fully vanish. They sink below language into the ocean floor of the soul. Forgetting, then, is not disappearance. It's transformation. The moment doesn't die. Changes state. Like water turning into mist, it leaves the surface to rise into the invisible. Still present, just harder to see. Some memories fade because we no longer need them. Others linger because they are still teaching us. Both are forms of wisdom. Both are gifts. And sometimes, in the stillness between thoughts, a forgotten memory returns. A sudden scent, a flicker of a face, a fragment of laughter. Not to haunt you, but to remind you that the mind remembers in spirals, not in straight lines. It circles back when the heart is ready. Even the universe remembers this way. Stars die, but their light travels for millions of years, arriving long after the source is gone. Every time you look up at the night sky, you are seeing ghosts of suns, still shining. So perhaps memory is cosmic. Perhaps love, once created, never truly disappears. It just travels, slower than light, but never stopping. So when you feel yourself forgetting, don't fear it. Forgetting is not betrayal. It's the mind's way of making room for the present. For new faces, new stories, new love. It's how life keeps unfolding without tearing at its seams. Hold on to what matters. Let the rest drift gently away. The people and moments that shaped you are not lost. They've simply moved inward, from memory into being. You carry them now not in thought, but in how you speak, how you listen, how you love. Their fingerprints are all over your soul. One day, someone will remember you the same way, not in detail, but in feeling. Not in photographs, but in the warmth you left behind. And in that way, no one is ever truly forgotten. Because memory, even when it fades, leaves a trace of light. And that light, quiet and unbroken, is how love continues to remember itself. What is it that's watching right now behind your eyes? Not the thoughts, they come and go, rising like waves. Not the body, that too changes, breath by breath. But the one who notices, that quiet observer, that wordless awareness that sees without needing to name. This is consciousness, the oldest mystery in the universe, and perhaps the only one that truly matters. For centuries, scientists, mystics, and poets have tried to describe it. Some say it is a spark born from the brain's machinery, a byproduct of billions of neurons firing in intricate harmony. Others whisper that the brain doesn't create consciousness, it receives it, like a radio tuned to a cosmic signal that has always been there. Either way, the experience remains the same. The feeling of being you, of existing, of looking out through the windows of the world and knowing, I am here. But who is that I? The more we look for it, the more it slips away. Meditators have sat for lifetimes trying to find the center of the self, only to discover there isn't one. Just layers, sensations, memories, roles, habits, held together by the illusion of continuity. The self is not a solid sculpture. It's a river, always moving, always reshaping its banks. Every second, the brain rewrites the story of who you are, stitching together past and present into a seamless narrative that never truly existed until now. And yet, something deeper watches the story unfold. Unmoved, unchanging, like the still sky behind the clouds of thought. When neuroscientists scan the brain during deep meditation, they find that the default mode network, the region associated with self-reference and identity, grows quiet. The chatter fades, the borders blur. People describe feeling one with everything, not as metaphor but as direct experience. In that silence, you don't disappear. You expand. You stop being a single drop and become the ocean itself, aware of itself through countless eyes, countless hearts. Perhaps consciousness is not confined to skull and skin. Perhaps it flows through all matter, from the spark of a neuron to the pulse of a star. Some physicists even wonder if awareness is woven into the fabric of reality itself, a fundamental field like gravity or magnetism everywhere, always. Think of the atoms in your body. They once belonged to ancient stars. You are literally built from the ashes of light. And now that light thinks, feels, dreams, the universe has turned its gaze inward, through you. So when you close your eyes and sense the stillness behind your thoughts, you are touching something vast. A presence older than your name, older than the world. Call it consciousness, soul, the universe remembering itself. But even in science, there are clues. In experiments on split-brain patients, when the two hemispheres of the brain are separated, each seems to develop its own awareness, two centers of I in one body. It suggests that consciousness is not one thing, but a collaboration, a chorus that sings so beautifully in tune that it sounds like one voice. Maybe that's what we all are, parts of a larger mind, each of us a neuron in the cosmic brain. Each thought, each act of kindness, a signal pulsing through the nervous system of existence. And when we look into another's eyes, when we feel empathy, when we understand, that's consciousness recognizing itself in another form. Two mirrors reflecting infinity. The philosopher Alan Watts once said, "You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at itself. And if you pause long enough, you can feel it, that quiet hum beneath everything. The sound of awareness watching its own dream." The ancient mystics of India called it Atman, the inner self that is identical to Brahman, the universal soul. They said, when you awaken, you realize you were never just a person. You were the whole ocean imagining itself as a wave. Modern physics, curiously, echoes this idea. The particles that make up your body are not separate. They are entangled with everything else. When one moves, another responds across light years of space. Connection is not metaphor. It is reality. So perhaps consciousness is the field of connection itself, the invisible web in which every thought, every being, every moment is a ripple. And what then is death? If consciousness is fundamental, perhaps death is not an end, but a transition of perspective. A wave returning to the sea, a pause in the rhythm of awareness. The melody still plays, just in another key. This doesn't mean the self survives unchanged. It means that what was aware never really began and can never really end. You can't burn the sky. You can only watch the clouds move through it. So when you ask, who am I? Look not for an answer, but for the silence that remains when the question fades. That silence, that vast, bright stillness, is you, the witness, the eternal listener, the empty space in which stars are born, dreams unfold, and life awakens again and again. And if you ever doubt how extraordinary that is, consider this. The atoms in your hand once floated in the heart of a sun, and now they are aware of being a hand. The universe has come so far just to reach this moment, this breath, this awareness, this fragile miracle of I am. So let your thoughts drift. Let your identity soften. Let your boundaries dissolve like mist. Because in the end, you are not the story. You are the space in which the story is told. You are the silence that holds every sound, the canvas that allows the stars to shine. And when all else fades, when memory dissolves and names fall away, what remains is this luminous presence, still, infinite, and free. Every night, as the world fades behind your eyelids, you enter a universe that exists nowhere but within you. There are no stars, no air, no light, and yet you see, you move, you live. Dreams are the mind's private theater, a stage built of memory and imagination, where consciousness rehearses its own mysteries. In a dream, you can breathe underwater, speak to those who've passed, walk through cities that never were. Your body rests in silence, but your mind travels galaxies. Each image, each sound, is woven from electrical whispers, neurons flickering like candles in the vast dark of the sleeping brain. Scientists once thought dreams were random, a byproduct of neural noise, but now they see something more profound. Dreams are the brain's way of reorganizing reality. Each night, it edits, compresses, and rewrites, turning the chaos of the day into the calm of understanding. When you dream, your mind becomes its own artist, blending memory and invention until the line between real and unreal disappears completely. You are both the storyteller and the story, but perhaps the strangest truth is this: the same mechanisms that create dreams also shape waking life. What you see right now, this room, this page, this moment, is not the world as it is, but as your brain interprets it. Light enters your eyes, sound enters your ears, and deep within, your mind assembles the pieces into what you call reality. You are not seeing the world. You are seeing a model of the world created inside your head. The philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, "We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are." And neuroscience agrees. Your perception is not a mirror, it's a painting. Every color, every sound, every touch is filtered through emotion, memory, and expectation. That's why two people can witness the same event and remember it differently. Because the mind doesn't record, it interprets. It fills in gaps. It edits out what doesn't fit the story. This phenomenon is called predictive processing, the brain's way of guessing what's real before it even knows. You don't see with your eyes. You see with your expectations. Your eyes just confirm them. So, in a way, you are dreaming all the time, even now. Waking life is a shared dream, a collective illusion we call consensus reality. When you see a face, your brain fills in missing details. When you read emotions, you are decoding signals shaped by your own experience. Your reality is personal, but it overlaps just enough with others for us to agree on what exists. It's humbling and beautiful to realize that the world you move through is partly your own creation. Even time, that most constant of illusions, is flexible. In dreams, seconds stretch into hours. And in life, a single moment of awe can feel eternal. The brain's clock is not fixed. It's emotional. When the heart expands, time slows down. The artist Salvador Dali painted melting clocks to show that truth. Time is liquid. So is perception. So is reality. There's a phenomenon called lucid dreaming, where you become aware that you are dreaming and take control of the dream. You can fly, reshape the world, speak to the subconscious itself. In those moments, the dream becomes a laboratory of the soul, a mirror that responds to thought. But here's the secret. Waking life can be lucid too. Awareness is lucidity. To see the world and know you are seeing it, to feel an emotion and know you are feeling it, is to wake up inside the dream of living. The mystics call this enlightenment, but it's not supernatural. It's simply the realization that everything you experience is happening within consciousness, that the dream and the dreamer are not two. The great physicist Erwin Schrödinger once wrote, "The total number of minds in the universe is one. You are that one mind looking through a billion windows. Each window, a life, a story, a dream." Sometimes, when people wake from anesthesia, they describe the feeling of being nowhere, no thought, no body, just awareness suspended in blackness. And when they return, they say, "It felt like I never left," because consciousness doesn't move. Only its scenery changes. So what, then, is the difference between dreaming and waking? Maybe only this: that waking is the dream we agree to share. A dream with rules, with gravity and consequence, but still a dream. And when it ends, when we close our eyes for the final time, perhaps the mind simply wakes somewhere else. There is an old saying, "Life is but a dream within a dream." And yet, what a magnificent dream it is, full of color and longing, of laughter and mystery, of love so vivid it leaves an imprint beyond memory. Dreams remind us that reality is not fixed. It is fluid, creative, alive. You are not trapped within the world. The world is unfolding within you. Every breath, every sound, every heartbeat is part of this grand illusion where the universe pretends to be separate so it can rediscover unity again. And maybe, just maybe, when we awaken from this life, we'll find ourselves saying, "That was beautiful," not because it was perfect, but because it was real enough to feel. Until then, close your eyes. Let the dream continue. You are the light that projects the story, the silence that gives it sound, the dreamer who never truly sleeps. Look up at the night sky. Each star you see is a reminder that you are made of the same fire. The carbon in your breath, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, all were forged in ancient stars long before there was Earth, long before there was you. When those stars died, they scattered their light into space, and from that dust you emerged. The universe has been building toward you for billions of years, and now, through your eyes, it is finally seeing itself. This is not poetry. It is physics. Carl Sagan said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." He was right. The atoms of your body once drifted alone in the dark. Now they think, they dream, they love. You are the universe made conscious. Every cell, every neuron is a microcosm of cosmic structure. The brain's web of billions of connections mirrors the distribution of galaxies across the universe. The same mathematical patterns, branching, clustering, self-similarity, exist in both. The macro and the micro speak the same silent language. And deep inside that symmetry lies a truth so vast, so simple. The boundary between out there and in here is illusion. The universe is not something you live in. It is something you are. Every thought, every heartbeat, every glance at the stars is the cosmos folding in on itself, a mirror gazing into infinity. You are not separate from the night sky. You are the sky experiencing itself as awareness. When you close your eyes, the galaxies don't disappear. They turn inward, becoming constellations of thought and emotion. Your memories orbit around meaning like planets around a sun. Your imagination burns like the fusion of stars. You are not a small being looking at the infinite. You are the infinite momentarily remembering its smallness. Modern neuroscience tells us that perception is a projection, the brain constantly creating a model of reality inside itself. But what if the same is true for the universe? What if reality itself is the mind of existence imagining worlds the way you imagine dreams? In that view, every consciousness, human, animal, planet, star, is a neuron in a greater mind. And every act of awareness is the universe thinking one more thought. The physicist John Wheeler once said, "We are participants in a universe that comes into being through our act of observation." He called it the participatory cosmos. Reality, in other words, is a dance between observer and observed, between dreamer and dream. When you gaze at a star, the light you see may have traveled for millions of years. But in that instant of recognition, you complete the journey. The photon that began in a sun finds its purpose in your vision. The act of seeing is the act of creating meaning. And so, the universe expands not only outward but inward. Every new thought, every new discovery, is another spark in the mind of God, or whatever name you give to the great consciousness behind it all. The mystics of every culture have known this truth in silence. The ancient Upanishads said, "You are that." The Buddhists called it tathata, suchness, the recognition that everything you perceive is one continuous being. The Sufis called it ana alak, I am the truth. And in quantum physics, we find echoes of the same insight, that separation is illusion and observation shapes reality. But this is not just philosophy, it is intimacy. It means that when you feel awe looking at the night sky, it's not because you are small. It's because you are remembering. Something deep inside you recognizes that light. It has been there before. It is you. When a supernova collapses, it doesn't die, it transforms. When a thought fades, it doesn't vanish, it becomes silence. And when you, this beautiful constellation of consciousness, fall into sleep or death, you don't end, you return. You dissolve back into the field from which all things arise. The universe breathes you in and out again. Birth, life, death, infinite cycles of awakening. Even time itself, that relentless arrow, may be nothing more than the mind's way of measuring change. From a cosmic view, everything happens at once. Every moment layered upon the next like light trapped in a crystal. Your life is one beam in that prism, brief, radiant, complete. So if you ever feel small, look again. Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the stars being born. Your thoughts are constellations, flashing across the darkness of mind. Your breath is the expansion and contraction of galaxies. And when you fall still, when the chatter quiets and awareness opens, you can feel it, the pulse that connects everything. The same energy that burns in suns moves in your chest. That is not a metaphor. It is physics made sacred through awareness. The brain, the universe, the cosmos, all built from the same light, spinning, thinking, loving itself into being. You are not looking at the universe. You are looking as the universe. The eyes you see through are its windows. The thoughts you think are its language. The love you feel is its memory of wholeness. So tonight, when you look at the stars, let them look back, because they are. And in that silent exchange between your gaze and theirs, the great mirror completes its circle. The universe is within you, and you, small, luminous, and impossibly aware, are within it. Both are reflections of the same infinite mind dreaming itself awake. And perhaps, when this dream is done, when all stars fade into silence, consciousness will remember this, that once, in a fragile body on a small blue world, it looked at itself and smiled. So here you are, after the long journey through the body, the senses, the mind, and the cosmos. You have seen how memory flickers, how dreams shape reality, how emotion colors the mind, and how consciousness mirrors the stars. And now, all of it comes down to one quiet thing, the breath, in and out. Every inhale, a universe expanding. Every exhale, a universe returning to silence. This rhythm, so simple, so ancient, is the bridge between matter and meaning. For billions of years, the universe has been breathing in patterns. Stars forming and collapsing, oceans rising and falling, life appearing and fading. And here, in this single breath of yours, the same pattern continues, on a scale small enough to feel and infinite enough to be sacred. Science tells us that breath is exchange, oxygen entering, carbon leaving. But poetry tells us that breath is communion between you and everything that ever lived. Every inhale is someone else's exhale. Every atom in your lungs once drifted through trees, through oceans, through time itself. You are not just breathing air. You are breathing history. When you were born, your first act was to inhale, to say, without words, I am here. When you die, your last act will be to exhale, to say, I am returning. Between those two breaths is everything. Every heartbeat, every thought, every love, every moment of wonder. And perhaps that is all consciousness ever was, a single cosmic breath held between two eternities of silence. But don't mistake silence for emptiness. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the space that allows sound to exist. Just as darkness is what allows light to shine. Just as death is what gives life its pulse. The universe is not fighting opposites. It is balancing them. Light and dark, motion and stillness, knowing and mystery. And you, this delicate awareness, are where they meet. Think of all you have seen in this journey. How the mind creates worlds, how memory bends time, how emotion paints existence in color, how the self dissolves at the edge of awareness, and how the cosmos echoes your very structure. All of it was never outside you. It was within, because the greatest experiment of the universe was never physics. It was consciousness. You are that experiment. A moment of the cosmos that learned to look back and whisper, why am I here? And the answer is both simple and infinite. You are here so that the universe can love itself. Through your eyes, it marvels. Through your touch, it connects. Through your breath, it remembers its rhythm. If you have ever loved, you have been the universe learning tenderness. If you have ever grieved, you have been the universe understanding loss. If you have ever looked at the stars and felt small, that was the universe realizing its own immensity. All those feelings, awe, fear, longing, joy, are not human flaws. They are cosmic functions. They are how infinity explores itself. Even now, neurons fire softly in your brain, waves of electricity rippling through the ocean of your mind. Each spark is a tiny dawn, light born inside darkness. And in that light, existence awakens once more. What a beautiful paradox, that the same energy that fuels galaxies also fuels your thought. That stardust became self-awareness, and self-awareness became wonder. So breathe again, slowly, deeply. Feel how the air enters, cool, alive, endless. Feel how it leaves, warm, familiar, free. You are not doing this. You are being breathed. The same force that moves the stars moves through you. And one day, when your final breath comes, don't be afraid. It won't be darkness waiting, only return. The same return that every atom has made since the first light bloomed. The same silence that gave birth to the stars. In that final stillness, you won't be gone. You will simply be everywhere. The breath released will scatter through oceans, through clouds, through the lungs of future children. You will become their air, their warmth, their quiet moment of peace. Because nothing is ever lost. It only changes form. The light that was once a star became your heartbeat. And someday your heartbeat will become another star. So let the story end where it began, in wonder. Not as a conclusion, but as a continuation. Because wonder is the truest form of knowledge. It is the breath between science and spirit. It is how the universe says, thank you to itself for existing. Now, as this journey fades into stillness, listen one last time. There, in the space between thoughts, you can hear it. A quiet hum, a rhythm older than galaxies. The sound of everything breathing together. You are part of that breath. You always were, and you always will be. So rest now. The stars will keep their watch. The universe will keep dreaming. And somewhere, in another corner of infinity, another soul will wake and begin this story again. Breathe in and let the stars move through you. You are not apart from the universe. You are its memory, its heartbeat, its dream. The light that burns in distant suns is the same light that glows behind your eyes. And when you close them tonight, you are not falling into darkness. You are returning to the quiet center of everything. So rest, traveler. You have seen enough for now. The galaxies will keep their rhythm. The atoms will keep their dance. And the universe will keep whispering through the breath that moves within you. Sleep gently, and when you wake, the stars will still be singing, waiting for you to listen.